Alrighty people, today we're going to be reading through some good old Reddit stories. If you're trying to do some chores, go to bed, just sit back, enjoy the stories. Got some Minecraft gameplay in the background, and I'm out of AI, so if you don't like that, I am a real person, so don't worry about that. And let's just get into it with story 1. Am I the a-hole for calling my sister-in-law a racist after she compared my cooking to making Kung Pao chicken? This one's probably going to be a doozy. Let's get into it. For context, I've been married to my wife for roughly 10 years, and we are a mixed race couple. I'm Asian and she's Caucasian. I've gotten along with her family, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, but I've always felt like her father-in-law and other sister-in-law, Sarah, have never liked me. I'm a professionally trained chef with 15 plus years of experience, and I work at a high-end Chinese restaurant in a large US city. My crew and I have won several awards, and I've been explicitly told I'll be the next executive chef. Sarah is also a professionally trained chef and works in a popular upscale French restaurant in the same city. She constantly brags about it and, no joke, compares herself out loud to Ramsay in Bourdain. Hopefully I said that right, I don't know. Whenever I'm at my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house, in helping out in the kitchen, Sarah is always criticizing everything I do, whether it's chopping, braising, marinating, etc. She always butts in with comments like, I think you should actually do X like this. I've been patient for the sake of my wife and sidestepping those comments, saying things like thanks, but I think I'll stick to the way I do it. Things came to a head 2 weeks ago when my wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, and I were all in her parents' kitchen prepping dinner for my mother-in-law's birthday. We were running a bit behind, so things were heated, which I kind of liked because it reminded me of work, and that's when Sarah walked in. She took one look at what I was doing, scoffed, and said something like, "Oh wow, okay, so that's not the right way of doing things." It hit a nerve, and I pretty sternly told her to stop criticizing my cooking and that I'm also a chef like her. She laughed and said, "Making Kung Pao chicken at some Chinese restaurant doesn't count." The kitchen went silent, father-in-law snorted and chuckled, and my mother-in-law yelled, "Sarah, what is wrong with you?" I stopped what I was doing, swore at her, and called her a racist piece of feces. Apologized to my mother-in-law for not being able to stay, and left for home with my wife. Apparently, this caused a massive fight after we left, with my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, other sister-in-law taking my side, and my father-in-law and Sarah saying it was a joke but kind of true, and that I was being too sensitive. The extended family somehow got wind of this, and now everyone is arguing and taking sides, with my wife even getting texts from some of her cousins apologizing for Sarah's behavior. Despite being on my side, my wife is begging me to apologize so that the fighting will stop, but I refuse to because F Sarah and her blatant racism. Am I the a-hole? Now hold on, we're not going to do the verdict yet because I see 1, 2, 3, 4 updates, so this is not done yet. Let's keep on going. My wife has also informed me now that Sarah may be in trouble at work, and she's blaming me for it. Apparently one of her coworkers heard her rant about what happened and reported it to management. Edit: to clarify, Sarah is blaming me, though my wife is partially blaming me as well. Edit 2. So it looks like one of my wife's cousins found this post and put it on Sarah's Facebook wall going, "This is you, right?" Her Facebook friends are starting to comment things like, "If this is you, Sarah, then I'm disappointed. I think Sarah's still at work, but stuff might be hitting the fan soon, and now my wife is pissed too. We'll try to update, but might have to delete this post if things go nuclear." Edit 3/update 2. I was considering removing the post, but I just got a voicemail from my father-in-law that, quote, "My presence was only being tolerated up until this point," and threatened a, quote, "world of hurt if I didn't delete this post. Officially going to keep this post up, and if you're still reading this, Doug," okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of savage calling his name out, but let's keep going. "If you're still reading this, Doug, I'm very disappointed in you. You are better than this. We'll also continue to update, and thanks again for all the support, folks." Edit number 4/update 3. Lots of stuff just went down. 1. My wife got a call from sister-in-law. Sarah started screaming/crying at her the moment my wife picked up and said that she just got demoted because of her Asian slur husband. Apparently some of her coworkers have her on Facebook and showed the post to management, which combined with her earlier rant double whammied her back to being a line cook, and now she just might get fired. My wife told her to go F herself and is now solidly on my side after taking the verbal abuse from Sarah and reading some of the comments here. My wife is still the opposite of happy though. Number 2. Wife called mother-in-law and asked her what the F was going on with father-in-law. Mother-in-law was confused, so my wife played back the voicemail I had on my phone, and apparently my mother-in-law literally just walked away from the phone without hanging up and started screaming at father-in-law. Number 3, Facebook post has now devolved into a cluster F flame war with family and friends jumping in. Suffice to say, It has officially gone nuclear. Oh my goodness, there's more updates. This is never ending. Oh, this story is crazy. And by the way, after he said it's officially gone nuclear, he plays a GIF from Pirates of the Caribbean when one of the guys, like the ship is just blowing up and he's kind of just like walking around. I'll see if I can get it up on the screen. But holy wow, this story is insane. After the lovely GIF he linked, he said, I think I'm going to have to call this a day. We'll make an update post when the dust settles. Thanks again, folks. Edit number 5/update 4. I'd like to clarify that I got my wife and mother-in-law's permission to post this update out of respect for them and their privacy. Suffice to say, it's been kind of nuts this past week. My wife and I had to turn off social media for a bit because of the poop storm caused by her cousin putting my last post on Sarah's Facebook page. Some people even tried to call the restaurant I work at to get me fired as retribution, but luckily everyone there is 100% on my side. Or as my boss put it, F Sarah, F those racists, F them so gosh darn much. Obviously, finish all the explicatives there that I just had to shorten for YouTube's sake. But yeah, I guess it didn't help them that half the calls involved threats, screaming, and more racial slurs. Yeah, fun fact, if you're trying to get a guy fired legitly, maybe don't come in with racial slurs. It's not very good at convincing people unless they work at a really bad place. So yeah, not the best strategy there. Back to the post though. We didn't hear any updates from her family, even though we assume that the crap hit the fan after mother-in-law found out about the father-in-law's threatening voicemail. And he puts in parentheses here, still disappointed in you, Doug. And it's italicized. It's so funny. But that changed on Sunday night when mother-in-law suddenly showed up at our door with overnight bags. After we took a moment to help unpack and calm down, she spilled the beans on everything. Apparently, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were already having trouble in their marriage, and it was only made worse with a certain 2016 presidential election. She's a Dem, and he had apparently gone far more right since then. Seems that a line was crossed with the quote-unquote Kung Pao incident and his voicemail when he refused to apologize for anything, in typical Doug fashion. She asked for a divorce, and he went berserk. She didn't feel safe there, so that's when she came over. Other brother-in-law and sister-in-law live out of town, so she could only come to us. Now, you may have been able to tell already, but the extended family was largely arguing, fighting, and divided along political lines for years now, and my cousin's Facebook post was likely just the light to set off the powder keg. According to my mother-in-law, the fallout has allegedly already led to some breakups, excommunication of some family members, and even an argument that ended with police involvement. Haven't verified this myself though. And a last update about Sarah, the rude sister-in-law here. According to my mother-in-law, Sarah came over to her place on Friday. The writing was on the wall and she was basically forced to quit. Despite her trying to start from scratch as a line cook, the entire staff turned against her. Nothing was coming back from the dish pit for her, and she was getting the cold shoulder. She's a great chef, I will admit this is true, but they took no chances since it turns out, I kid you not, they're partly owned by a Chinese investment company. Found this hard to believe, and I didn't want to add this detail, but it turned out to be true after some research. Won't say anything else for further privacy. Word also got around in the local industry, and Sarah is essentially blacklisted from high-end establishments in the area. She's now considering selling her home and moving to find new work. As much as I don't like her and found her behavior horrifying, I didn't intend for this to happen, so I've reached out to some buds in other states to see if they had any openings. Whether or not she wants to take this is up to her. And no, she has not apologized for anything either, but I still want to be a decent person to her. It sure does not feel like a happy ending, perhaps bittersweet justice, but that's all I can give you. Thank you all for your support and for reading. And to end the post off, he drops a link labeled still me right now, and it's that same gif. Dude, it's the same gif. That is so funny. Okay, alrighty, so the Waffles verdict here. Is he the a-hole? Of course not. Okay, we all knew he wasn't the a-hole. He was actually pretty mature about it. I can't remember, did he cuss her out when he left the kitchen that one time? Okay, yeah, so he did. He stopped and swore at her and called her racist POS. All right, so I mean, that's obviously not the most mature thing technically, but like, yeah, I feel like it's pretty hard not to react in that scenario. Like, just to walk out quietly is a whole new level of control that you need to be like a level 100 monk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know those ads that are like the level 1 crook and then the level 99 mob boss? You need to be a level 99 super monk, like just the most chill, composed person ever. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously not the a-hole, and the sister-in-law is. It sucks that she's getting blackballed, but also like, you did it yourself, so do I really feel that bad? I think it's actually really crazy nice of the poster to hit up his contacts trying to get her maybe a job elsewhere. And I gotta say, the level of irony that the restaurant she worked at was invested in by a Chinese company is insane. Like, what are the odds of that? Like, that is poetic justice if I've ever seen it. And you know, honestly, the craziest part of the story is that she never apologized. like even if people don't mean it, generally when they have such harsh consequences, they'll still just apologize to try and, get out of the way of the this is gonna ruin your life bus type of deal. But she didn't even do that, which is insane to me. Like she is just rooted, like feels like she did nothing wrong, or I don't know. Sometimes I think people also get they dig themselves so deep that they feel like it's just too late to come out and apologize, which is the worst mindset ever. It's never too late to apologize. Maybe it's too late for it to be completely effective, but it's never too late to try and, right your wrongs essentially. So yeah, she messed up. She ruined her, it seems like, successful career, because being a chef is not easy. So that sucks for her. And the consensus, I'm assuming, I'm going to click through here. Yeah, everyone's saying not the a-hole, which is pretty obvious. If you said that he was the a-hole in this scenario, I don't know how you could argue that, but yeah. Okay, this next one is a doozy. So let's just get straight into it. Am I the a-hole for telling my extended family how many men, roughly, my sister has slept with after she outed my youngest brother as a virgin? We had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total. Me, my elder sister 29, younger sister 24, and youngest brother 22. Extended family attended our family dinner, so all of our significant others, our cousins, aunts, and uncles, etc. were all present. During the dinner, my elder sister and youngest brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across very aggressive out of frustration and losing said argument. The two of them were too absorbed to notice that the rest of us at the table were getting a bit fed up, and eventually my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up, I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." My brother hadn't done any personal attacks up until this point. It was completely unprovoked, and I think it may have had something to do with the alcohol my sister had drunk, because she tends to be a bit more mean when she does so. Anyways, I immediately told my sister to grow up and that she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows he's a virgin and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me, as my brother definitely has confidence issues and doesn't need to be made fun of like this, so I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family already knows, it's not a big deal, right? Well, turns out her husband did not know. I genuinely assumed that he must have known. So after this, he left the party angrily, saying my sister misled him about her past. Family is now blaming me for their marital problems, and I refuse to accept I did anything wrong. In my eyes, my sister bullied my brother in front of everyone, and all I did was give her a taste of her own medicine. Am I the a-hole? Okay, well, this one's a little bit tricky. Well, maybe not. Honestly, I think they're both the a-hole, so maybe it's not that tricky. I think obviously the sister shouldn't say that, because spoiler alert, people, it's actually, there's nothing wrong with waiting to do the deed until you find the right person, or you're just not really, some people just aren't super in a rush to do it, which is fine. So obviously her saying that about the brother, who apparently has confidence issues as well, I mean, that's not going to help. So that's really messed up, just doing that to your own sibling. That's something I struggle to relate to, because my siblings and I have always been very tight and protective of each other. So I can't relate on that level of attacking your sibling. That's always just in my brain, does not make sense to me whatsoever. So I mean, that's obviously messed up. And then the youngest brother bringing up her body count, it's kind of a savage response, I'm not gonna lie. But is it necessary? Of course not. You don't, just because one person's mean doesn't mean you have to come back and be mean. It just honestly makes you look bad when you go and do that. So honestly, I think both the youngest brother and the older sister are the a-holes. Obviously she shouldn't have said that. It's not necessary, and nor does it really matter, like I just said. But also, you don't, just because one person goes low doesn't mean you need to go low as well. There's that one saying, eye for an eye and the world's blind. That kind of applies here. So yeah, I think they both messed up. Obviously, I would say the sister is more to blame, because if she doesn't say that, then this whole thing probably doesn't happen. And I know some people will say, oh, well, the youngest brother, he caused marital issues. But at the end of the day, if the sister was just transparent about her past, then those probably wouldn't happen. So I'm not going to really blame the younger brother for that, especially if the whole family knows. But that's kind of a separate story. Why does your whole family, not even just your close family, but your extended family, know your body count? Why are you guys so open? I can't imagine just sharing my body count with my grandma and uncles and aunts. That's just a crazy concept to me. I don't know. Now, looking through the comments here, the consensus seems to be either not the a-hole in terms of the OPs, meaning the younger brother in the scenario, or that everyone sucks here, right? And that's kind of, I guess, where I am. I guess the proper term for the Reddit page here would be ESH, for everyone sucks here. But yeah, I think they both messed up. Story number 3, am I the a-hole for telling my son he deserved his girlfriend breaking up with him? So my son had a long distance girlfriend recently for about 2 years. She was great, a really nice girl, and we all loved her and welcomed her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him, a weekend a month. and he didn't lift a finger to go and visit her. I tried talking to him about it several times and told him he should really start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all the traveling. He said no, and my wife probably had something to do with this, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said this girl is great for him. She was willing to move over to our country too, but she said there was one condition, and that was that he'd have to fly over to her country as well, which in my eyes was fair enough. He said no, he didn't want to fly or travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, even telling his girlfriend and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere, including holidays. Last week, he told us she dumped him. I went on her Facebook page and we're all still friends. She wrote us an apology letter about how she's upset it didn't work out, but things happen, so we're on good terms still. And it looks like she's with a new guy already. Me and my wife have no doubt she was seeing him while still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision and he should have expected it. He did not treat her properly, and I hope he learns lessons for the next one because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserves it for his lack of effort in the relationship and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time without ever reciprocating. My wife and son are both very upset that I said this, like very, very upset, and my wife says I'm being horrible. Am I the a-hole? I stand by what I said. Okay, so for me, this one's pretty easy. I'm going to go with not the a-hole. I think the dad is just being real with his son. Like, you got to learn. If someone's flying over to your country, granted, I'm assuming it's in Europe because, no one's taking flights every month unless it's like relatively close. I would hope. Could be wrong, but I hope so, just for her sake, looking back. But if they're doing that and you're showing no effort, like, yeah, you deserve to be broken up with. Like, clearly you don't like them that much. Like if they're willing to fly to you, but you're not willing to reciprocate, even like one time, I'm not saying like she was going once a month, which is crazy to me. That's gotta be so expensive, but like, at least like make a trip plan for like, a couple months out. Be like, yeah, I'm going to come to you. I want to meet, your friends, your family or whatever. Cause it also goes into that, right? It's not just like seeing each other. It's like getting to know the people around you. So, I mean, this is totally the son's fault. I think the mom is just being, that protective mama bear to her son that can do no wrong in her eyes, probably. I think what the dad's saying here is very blunt and it probably didn't feel good to hear, but it's like just the truth. Like, and for the son, who I'm assuming, I don't remember if it said the age. I don't think it did. No, I'm looking through it. It did not say the age. I'm assuming the son is younger. So it's just going to be a learning experience. I mean, we don't know how to be in relationships from the get-go. So you kind of just learn and hope either the person is willing to stick with you and learn with you, or you got to just go to the next one if they break up with you. So yeah, I think the dad is in the right here. I think it's blunt, but I think it's going to help the kid out more than just saying, oh man, she's, horrible. Oh no. Oh, hold on. I went to look at the comments. I was going to try and see what the consensus was. And the first comment, someone's asking how old the son is. The son's 24. I was going to say he was probably like 16, 17, still in high school maybe, but he's 24. So yeah, that solidifies my answer even more. This is the most not the a-hole by the dad ever. Like, again, I get it's blunt, but like if you're 24 and you don't know that you need to put some effort into a relationship, that's fine, but now you got to learn from it. And you're just learning in a very blunt way, but that maybe it'll help you. So now, all that being said, I will say it was really lame of the girl to like move on so quick, at least in my opinion, because that probably means she was like half seeing him, or they were like, friends before, but like, those friends where they're like almost kind of dating, but not really, because they're always both in relationships, like that kind of like sitcom type scenario, which does happen. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it. I could be totally wrong, but I gotta say, it's not a good look if you just break up with someone and right away you're posting pictures with your new boyfriend. Story 4. Am I the a-hole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me? I'm a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my high school. He's a shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing. He's a friendly guy. And Danielle, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like, how sad do you have to be a grown man taking your anger out on high school and college kids? So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off of our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper tantrum about how we didn't make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do anything about because I gave it to him straight out of the machine. So James came in and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy started ranting at him too. So he was just like, "OP, this is unacceptable. You're fired." I started acting real sad, like, "No, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job. Please do not fire me." And he played up being a strict boss, telling me to take the apron off and leave. In response to this, the angry guy started to backtrack, like, it isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it. And James was like, no, we pride ourselves on the best customer service. Of course, after all the drama, I still had my job. We were just acting, and we've done it a couple times whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I. James will storm in and quote unquote fire us. And almost every time the person who had come in angry will apologize and say that they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needed money fired. Am I the a-hole for this joke? Okay, so as someone who's worked in food service, I worked at a Chipotle, so you know, people, they want their burritos and bowls really fast, so trust me, I've seen the mean customers. I'm gonna go with not an a-hole, okay? I think it's just a funny joke. I don't think it's that deep. I mean, is it kind of messed up a little bit, but they're also coming in like yelling at you over the smallest thing. Like, this is kind of a side tangent here, but I think everyone in their life should go and work at like a food service job or a grocery store or something like that, where you have to work with the general public a lot, because those workers are treated so poorly by the customers. It's actually ridiculous. I mean, I know in every job you're going to get the grumpy and angry customer or whatever. I get that. But for whatever reason, and maybe it's just like the stipulation around working a food service job, like, oh, you're just working at McDonald's, I'm not going to show you that much respect. Like, it's just kind of messed up, because first of all, we need those jobs filled anyways, even if you don't want to work that job personally. Like, that person, I mean, you're shopping there or you're getting food there. Like, without people like that worker there, you wouldn't be able to go there. So like, I don't know, I think they're more important and way too disrespected. So I just, you know, in a perfect world, I feel like everyone should go work it for a little bit just to know what it's like, and to learn, actually, this is like the biggest thing, to learn patience, especially at food places. Because if you've worked in a restaurant or even fast food place, whatever it is, you know, sometimes it just gets hectic and like you're going as fast as you can and you just can't help it. But if you've never worked it, you don't know. So when you're waiting in line at McDonald's for 20 minutes, you're like, oh my God, it's McDonald's. I just want my chicken McNuggets and my Diet Coke that's more than $1 now, which is a crime, let's be honest. So yeah, overall, I would say not the a-hole. I think it's funny. I think it could cause some issues and maybe hurt your relationship with some customers when they keep coming in and the guy that keeps getting fired is still there. But overall, not the a-hole. Good story though. We ended off on a good one. And if you guys like this video, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to like it. Comment any good posts down below I should look into maybe. I kind of just browse Reddit and I picked some ones I thought seemed interesting. Regardless though, have a good day and I hope to see you in the next one. Real quick, I was just watching this back and I just realized every time I said the word chef, I added a T at the end. I don't know why. I don't think I always do that, but now I'm like self-conscious. I kept saying chefed. I don't know, whatever. Have a good day.